Now, there are two primary methods for making sparkling wine, the traditional method and the charmat or tank method. Now, we'll talk about the differences between them, but they both start in the same way. The winemaker will have a base wine, a still wine, that they need to add some bubbles to. And the way they do that is they will add yeast and sugar to the wine in a sealed vessel and let it ferment again. That's going to produce carbon dioxide, which dissolves into the wine and gives it those bubbles that we love. So the ancient way of making sparkling wine is called the traditional method. And in that method, yeast and sugar are added to the wine in the bottle itself, and the second fermentation happens there in the bottle. The problem with that is that when the fermentation is done, the yeast sort of sinks to the bottom of the bottle, and we need to get that out somehow, or it's going to be hazy. So a process called riddling happens, where over a period of days, the bottle is slowly kind of sort of shaken and moved from a horizontal to a vertical upside down position, and all that yeast kind of slides down and sinks into the neck of the bottle. What the winemaker then does is they freeze the neck. It'll have a little kind of bottle cap on it, and when it's frozen they pop the cap off, out shoots a little ice cube of yeast, and then you reseal it with a champagne cork, and it's all done. So that's the traditional method. Champagne and cava are made in this way. It's also sometimes called the méthode champenoise or méthode cap classique, particularly in South Africa. And the main impact of all this is how the wine tastes, because that yeast in the wine starts to break down while it's in the bottle, and while the wine is in contact with it, and you get these sort of biscuity, brioche or toasty flavours that are left behind in the wine, which are really pleasant and enjoyable and give the wine a bit of extra character. This Saumur from the Loire Valley is made in that method, the méthode champenoise. Now, a far simpler and quicker way of making sparkling wine is the charmat or tank method, where you do all of this in a reinforced steel tank, and then you bottle the wine afterwards. And Prosecco is a great example of a sparkling wine made in this way. And actually it works really nicely for Prosecco, which is made from very aromatic grapes. And in making the wine, the winemaker wants to preserve some of those delicate fruit and floral aromas that it naturally has. And so doing all of this in stainless steel is a great way to preserve those aromas, and it means you avoid any of the kind of mellowing or more complex aromas that the winemaker doesn't necessarily want. So there are different ways of making sparkling wine, each with their own effect on the flavour of the end product.